Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Coach Hurst Show. This is Eli alongside Redbird's head coach, Michaela Hurst. Coach, it's been a long time since we had one of these shows. Got a lot of games to talk about. How have you kind of been doing since we've been away?
Good. I mean, we've been prepping and getting a lot of good wins and really hard practices, and now we're in postseason, so it's been exciting.
It's kind of the point of the year that maybe you probably look forward to the most, but at the same time, just like that, maybe the season could come to a halt. It's sad to think about that, but that's the reality of it. But we won't focus too much on that. We'll focus on some of the past games we haven't really had a chance to talk about. Pekin was kind of wrapped up conference play. Pekin, you had a great win at their place, 42-30. Kind of again stacking wins up as you go into postseason play. But again, I had a great stretch there. Dunlap game, that last regular season game. I don't want to talk about it too much. Didn't quite go our way. 57-38, I might believe that was the final score. What kind of went wrong, and what were kind of those building blocks going into postseason that were kind of harped on by you?
Yeah, so I think second round of conference, we were obviously really ready for that Morton game. Didn't play very well against Washington. I would say our second round has been a little bit weaker on some of our games that we've played. I think Pekin, we definitely stepped up. But then after that Pekin game, I don't feel like we really practiced or played to the best of our ability. We played down a little bit, especially like in the Limestone, East Peoria, Canton game. So I think we went on a bit of a stretch there where we didn't play our best, and we were able to pull out wins still at the end. So then when we showed up at Dunlap, kind of expected things to go that same way, but we just weren't fortunate enough to walk away with the win. So we kind of told them and had been telling them it's not going to be easy to keep harping on all of the things that we had been missing, but definitely I think needed to be humbled a little bit by that Dunlap game, so then we could get our mindset back to, okay, it could be taken from us at any point, especially as we now go into postseason. So as much as it sucked to lose, I think it was a positive for us at that point in the season to then be able to reset and recognize, hey, this is what happens when we don't play well. We just got lucky the other times.
Yeah, no. You guys beat them at home earlier in the season. Great win. It's almost kind of like if they're high school age kids, it's kind of hard to tell them, look, it's not going to be this easy. Now you're going into their place too. It's their familiar territory. You're not as familiar there. You've only played one game a year there maybe. So, it's kind of tough, being the road team there in that situation.
Yeah, it was also their senior night, so we know that they've got some good shooters, and they didn't miss, and we just couldn't find the basket. Also playing against the zone for our offense, didn't move the ball very well, and had some turnovers that just didn't allow us to execute as well as we have been.
We got those pieces right for that Streeter game. Ended up pretty big win for you guys that first round of regionals here the other night. What'd you see kind of went well in that game?
We just executed exactly what we needed to do. We knew that we were prepared to do all of those things, and we had obviously the game in the Ottawa tournament that we had already prepared for and done things well. So we knew what we were expecting, and we just needed to clean up things. I definitely told him that it was going to be more of a mental game than a physical game, but all of those mental things we're going to be able to take into the postseason with us. So we couldn't just write them off knowing that we had already won and we had won big. We had to make sure that we were doing everything to still keep ourselves in the mindset that we're prepping for the next game and all the games that we'll have moving forward.
You talk basketball's a team game. Talk about individual performance, especially in that first quarter. I thought your team came out really hot. Kessel had a couple big shots there to start the game. It's got to be nice having a player like that you can kind of lean on to get things going for you at the early going.
Yeah, and she hasn't been shooting her best at this end of the season here, so I think giving her the confidence on our home court was an awesome advantage for us, and her knocking down those big quarter threes were huge. I think she had 4 in the first quarter and ended the game with 5 total. So we've actually have the regional ball that we use for the games that the IHSA sends to the school. So we've actually been using that in practice, and I've had Kessa shoot with that ball every single day. So we're hoping that kind of transfers as well.
And I feel like a lot of the teams, at least early in the game, I think they almost forget to guard her. Like, she's probably your best shooter. I feel like she's left open on the wing, left open at the 3-point line more than anything. Is that kind of something you've been scheming up, or is that just kind of something that their team just kind of handing you?
It's kind of just been like that for the last 3 years. It's kind of surprising. We ran a couple plays against Washington even last year where they didn't guard her on those plays at all. Obviously this year they did, but we've kind of found who their players are that would guard her and adjusted some of our plays to give her those better looks. but she also has a really long wingspan, which I think allows her shot to be a little higher than most people would expect. So I think she just takes a lot of shots in practice, knows how to get to that sweet spot, but our teammates are also looking for her in those opportunities as well. So
You talk about now, keep that train rolling. Friday night, tomorrow, you guys take on a pretty tough Morris team from up north. What should fans should we expect from that Morris team?
yeah, so Morris actually had two sisters that ended up transferring to Providence Catholic that are both D1 prospects before this year. So their top players and even their team has been used to playing top competition and playing with girls that are top competition as well. So with them leaving, they definitely had to kind of remake themselves as a team at the beginning of the year. But towards the end of the season here, they've found a way to win almost every single time that they've kind of been faced in these tough situations. So we told our girls on Tuesday when they were watching the Kankakee Morris game that they never backed down. They know how to push forward. They know how to find a way to win, and they've got players that want that to happen for them. So we know that it's going to be a more competitive game, and we just have to make sure that we're boxing out, getting a lot of rebounds, and that we're playing our solid defense because they can get teams in foul trouble pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't want to say it too much, but you guys kind of do struggle with foul trouble, especially maybe one player specifically. I feel like she doesn't. We're not going to say a name, but I feel like she doesn't really. Me and my partner Ty Duncan, we've talked about it. We feel like she never gets the benefit of the doubt. Bailey never gets the benefit of the doubt. And there's kind of a play that's not like could go either way, kind of borderline. If we feel like she never kind of gets the benefit of the doubt, maybe because she's so much bigger, the ref maybe needs to compensate a little bit. Maybe the smaller player.
We've had that conversation with her too. I said if it's a 50-50 call, it's going against you every time, and it's not something that you're doing wrong, but it's just how it is. And we've talked to the refs about it. We've asked questions. She's done a lot better with it this year than last year. Last year, she led us in rebounds, blocks, not steals, but deflections. And then I added the little tidbit in our end of the year banquet and most fouls. But this year, I think she's done a lot better. She's recognizing that it's not going to change the entire game, but also that she's got to recognize when she's going to make contact with players and at what point in the game and how many fouls she already has. So she's been better with it for sure this year. But yeah, like you said, any 50-50 call is for sure not going in our favor with her.
I do. Maybe we can attribute to maybe her being a little better with the fouls this year. I do hear the scoreboard guys before the games to kind of give her a hard time about the fouls early on in the game. So maybe they're playing a little factor. But talk about that Morris team. Back to this Morris team. They beat a 20. I believe Kankakee was a 20-win team this year, first round of regionals. So I mean, they have what it takes. I hope you guys can get back from the football season. I hope you guys can get back right for Coach Delinsky. But looking ahead, you guys win that game. You guys might have probably will have another middle line play another team in the middle line the third time in the season. It's got to be. Do you kind of like that familiarity a little better now? Maybe if you get to that third round in that postseason, than is the unfamiliarity now?
Yeah, so we'll probably face on Tuesday next week. Once we take care of business on Friday, we would face Galesburg versus Morton. So they actually play tonight. That's where I'm going to go right after this little conversation here. But they play each other, so we would play them on Tuesday. And then the winner of those games, I think it would be Washington versus Dunlap, who also plays tonight, would be the regional championship. So definitely would love for an opportunity to play against Galesburg again. I've been saying it all year that if we played Galesburg at the point of the season where we did Morton, that we'd have a much different outcome. So I think that a Galesburg opportunity would be really fun, but also with how we've played against Morton and knowing how they play and all of those things, I think that would be a really fun next round as well.
Well, Coach, we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about senior night and that East Peoria game, kind of backtrack a little bit, and then we'll let you get out the door to see that game.
Sounds good.
Welcome back in. We don't have a player guest this week. I guess we got new guest, Coach Hurst, new sons in the building, so that's awesome to see. But talk about that East Peoria senior night. Do you kind of want to backtrack? Give the seniors their props. Their final regular season is done. A lot of them probably they're not gonna play another game of basketball, like organized competitive basketball. One of them I do believe is going. Kessa's going to be going to Lincoln Land to play basketball. Another collegiate athlete. She'll be playing softball, though, in Addie Wooden. What's kind of your last message to this group of seniors?
Yeah, so I mean, this group means a lot to me. They've been through pretty much all of the largest moments in my life. Their first year is when I was engaged. Their second year is when I got married, and their third year is when I had a baby. So they've been through like some really big moments in my life that I've got to celebrate with all of them. So I'm just really thankful for, one, all the effort and time and all the hard work that they've put into our program and just buying into what I've been able to bring in for them. But then also just that how much I love them and how I'll never forget like this time in my life with them as being a part of it, just because they're such a great group of girls in the classroom and the basketball floor, as friends, as teammates. I think you're never going to find a better group, and they're from all different points. Like you said, we've got like Caitlin, who's involved in almost everything at this school.
She sings the national anthem for games too.
We've had to accommodate so many different games and trips and all the things because she's just so involved in everything, which is just amazing. Ella Jones is probably one of the happiest and most energetic people in our program, but then also just a really, really great teammate. She knows all of our plays, all of our situations that we put in at practice, and she's a really, really great role model for our underclassmen, of just someone who just keeps fighting and knows their role and plays their role really, really well and doesn't hold any animosity based off of whether she's in the game or on the bench. She's just a great teammate all the way around. Addie Wooden has been a leader in our program for every year that I've been here, all 3 years. But this year especially, she's stepped up and just been way more vocal and also way more of a court leader and being able to just take charge of everything that we're doing. I joke because the last couple games my pregnancy brain has gotten in the way, and I try to draw up a play and I can't remember where people go in the play, so I just hand the board and the marker to Addie and she just draws it up. I'm like, Addie, can you just draw this? So she knows all of those things. And then Kessa, she's been along for the ride. She's been up, she's been down with confidence and all the things, but I'm just proud of everything that she's been able to accomplish, just because I know early on in her career she kind of identified herself as a three-point shooter, and maybe I kind of put her in that role as well, but she's so much more than that as a player, and we've got to see a lot more of that this year, which is just awesome, and I'm just so proud of how far she's come and everything that she's put in. So every one of these girls mean a lot to me. I'm surprised I didn't cry through any of that, but yeah, I love them dearly. I think they're a great group of girls, and we're really going to miss them, and I can't wait to see which ones in our program kind of fill those shoes next year in all their different ways. So.
Yeah, these seniors, the great group of leaders, like you said, and they're not going to go out without a fight. And we bring the players on, interview them. They talk about how good of friends they are. And I know those juniors and those sophomores you have on your team, they're not going to let their senior friends kind of go out without a fight, go out without being on top. I think you guys always talk about close knit, nice friendship. It's got to be great to see all those bonds. They come to fruition here postseason.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that's going to help us push through this postseason. I told them, even if everything goes wrong tomorrow on the basketball side of things, we know that we have so much more as a team to offer. We can come together and find a way to win, and we can use and try to pull from everybody's talent to find a way to walk out of here with a win, because we wouldn't want to walk out of here with anything else, especially with our seniors having their last opportunity on a home court. And I think everybody knows how important that feels, but then all year how we've just talked about this goal. We've talked about getting a 20-win season, and we've talked about a regional championship and being able to make history since the last one was in 2010, which is actually when like a couple of our players were born. So
yeah, your sophomores and your freshmen are probably born about that.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny just to put that into perspective for them. Like, this is going to be something that you'll be able to see anytime you walk back in the gym.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it sound corny, but the power of friendship really does work wonders. It's better to have everybody working for that common goal than the kind of a little bit of tension, a little anything kind of could derail you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get going. Best of luck coming down and bring home a W tomorrow night.
Thank you.
That'll do it for the Coach Hurst Show.